Welcome to the Simply Be Found Huddle with Dean and Rob, the co-founders of Simply Be Found. Good morning, Dean. How are you doing today?
I am great, Rob. We're getting a little bit of a little weather pattern in Colorado right now, but I'm doing really good. So,
Yeah, it's kind of nice to kind of cool off and kind of just have everything kind of be the way it is. So, this weather is decent change. I'm just really shocked we didn't get snow. On today's podcast, or today's huddle, I guess I should say, I want to talk about the members that we talked to that did an audit on their business by talking to us or by listening to our huddle and discovered a lot of things they were paying for and really didn't need to. And it's not just the small businesses I see having this issue. I see it being medium size, some agencies, larger size, even some franchises that have had that issue. And you and I always feel really bad for somebody, especially when they've been paying for a website for, X amount of time, and they're paying really good money for it. And we had one the other day that, and I'll let you kind of talk and tell more about that. But we had one the other day where the website didn't even exist. He never even went and checked to make sure it was still there. And he was paying somebody in another country to go through and design it.
yeah.
Can you kind of give some insights there?
Well, you know what? Thanks for, that was just one of those things. I just felt really, really bad for this member because they've been paying really good money for a website. They've been paying for ads. They've been paying for all these different things. And we got talking, and the website is advertised on a lot of his brochures, on everything else. And we went and looked, and the website URL did not exist. I mean, it said it didn't go anywhere.
It was available on GoDaddy.
Right, exactly. And I really felt really bad for this person because they've been paying for it, and they go, well, I'm not getting the leads I think I'm getting. And so that tells me that make sure you're doing an audit on your own stuff. I mean, if you're paying for a website and somebody's doing it, log into it every once in a while. Make sure everything's there. Make sure all the links are working right. I mean, do a self audit to yourself. You don't have to do it every day, but once a month, or I don't even know what the frequency would be. But you just got to check on it to make sure, or when you get
once every 90 days would almost be enough.
What's that?
I mean, you can do it once every 90 days, but I mean, if you're not getting leads, you're not getting stuff in, or you're not seeing good results,
right,
then you should be checking your social media more often, your website, make sure it's up, make sure it looks right. It's not broken. I mean, that stuff you should be doing, but I mean, doing a full audit, looking at how much you're spending on software, that's probably every 90 days, every once a year.
Yeah, for what you're spending on, because they're paying for somebody to write SEO content for them for the website, which would be like blogs.
Right.
Like, what? You're paying for something you don't even have a website? I mean, I felt horrible. And
when he discovered it, he ended up having a full panic attack and thought it was a heart attack, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. And I really felt bad, and he may be listening to us, and I because that's how he found us, was on the huddle. And that's when he started asking the questions. So I'm glad that we're getting information out there and making people think about what they're doing. I mean, do an evaluation on it, but it was really sad because he was busy just doing the work, running his cruise, that thing that you get really caught up in that. And if you don't have somebody to help you with that, or you don't do it yourself, it just takes somebody to say, hey, just go on mobile and just check my site, make sure it's popping up, or go on desktop and just make sure it's working and everything. If you click on this link, you click on this page, it goes to that page, that kind of thing.
And I mean, throughout my career of 30 plus years in doing websites, I've had websites where I didn't catch something, and the client or the member, whatever I was calling them at the time, would end up finding it, and they'd have to message it. I mean, and our team was checking stuff on a daily basis. We still miss stuff. There's times that checkouts on e-commerce sites get broken, or lead forms that get broken, because there's updates that happen. You don't always catch every little thing. So if something stops, that's where you have to really be able to communicate with your marketing team to say, hey, guess what? Something is wrong. Right. It's kind of like for our entire piece, when you talk about the listings engine, we don't necessarily know where you're ranking on a lot of places, because like voice search, it has no reporting. We're relying on that feedback from you saying, hey, guess what? It's not working. So if you're not providing that feedback over to us, some of it we're flying blind on. We're not even sure if it's actually working for you or how to guide you or coach you to be able to go that right direction.
Right. We've had a couple of our members reach out and say, hey, it's not working. And we went in and we did an evaluation using our data science people and a marketing review on it. And we said, make these changes and that it improves their position where they're at. We can't ever guarantee they're going to move to the number one spot. But by them telling us that what they're communicating wasn't working, we were able to say, hey, let's look at these keywords and, whatever it was. I mean,
Right.
every situation is different. So I'm not going to say keywords are the answer. Descriptions might be it. And maybe that you had something in there wrong, that didn't quite match up to your website even kind of thing, so.
I mean, that's a big key point. And I think the other point is we have access to a lot of different tools. So when we're doing an audit and we're working with someone saying, okay, well, what are you spending money on? And we'll go through and we'll talk about that inside of a marketing world, and we'll touch on it as a coaching piece. And there's things like I see people spending money on Ahrefs or SEM. Oh, Jiminy Crickets, I'm gonna lose my mind. SEM Rush, different tools that track different data. And I'm like, okay, well, you're on the social media plan, so therefore you can cancel that because we have this over here, and you're paying for two different pieces of software at the same time.
Right.
That's part of that coaching. You have to ask us to do those kind of audits and work with you, and you have to provide that data back and forth. But we could say, all right, well, how often do you look at your reports inside of SEM Rush? Well, I was talking to a member the other day, and he goes, well, I look at my reports maybe every 3 months. I said, well, we can get you almost the same report. Some things are missing, some things are different.
Right.
I can almost pull you the same report. All you have to do is have to ask us, and we'll provide you the URL for it for you to be able to pull the report up, and then it'll refresh at a slower rate than what SEM Rush does. But I don't know a single small business owner that's paying that close of attention to. Oh, that's not true. I know a couple that have been with us that pay that close attention. But I mean, it's one of those things to where you can ask for those reports. I mean, there's times that, someone's on the $99 plan. The other day, I found over $1,000 worth of stuff that covered. And then he was paying for that he wasn't even using.
Right. No, I that's the biggest thing is, just do an evaluation of your own, what you're doing as well. But I just felt, and the problem is those they were going, okay, I'm ranking when a search happens because they're paying for ads on the different, wherever they were paying for ads at. And the ads helped them rank, but they weren't organically getting there. And part of it was because of all the issues that were going on, because they weren't, again, the website wasn't there, or he doesn't have it. He didn't even, he did have a Google business profile, but it took us a while to get that all pulled up. But, it's all those pieces that he reached out and asked, and we were able to assist him. So that's huge.
I think it's absolutely huge. And I think there's a lot of stuff that's out there that, I think the biggest thing is when someone does the audit, and the nice thing about having the coaching side on that is the fact that a lot of times these business owners have no idea what that software is. Somebody made a recommendation, either that works for them, was a marketer that they were working with, and all of a sudden it gets put inside of their credit card every month, and they don't even know what it does, and they're not even using it. They just know it's part of their marketing, but they're not sure if they shut it off, if it's going to kill off something that they need. Right. I think there's a lot of fear factor when it comes to marketing because there's so much unknown to the small business world.
Right.
I mean, we experience that a lot. You have to. People are afraid of making a change inside of their listings, or they're afraid to do social media, or they're afraid to, cancel different stuff because they're so, I don't want to say they're confused on it, but they are, because they're not sure how everything ties together. So it's this unknown, which ends up making a scary world. Do you agree?
I would agree with that. And I don't know if it's really that they're scared of it. They don't have the time because they're so busy running their business that to do some of those deep dive things and learn all this stuff, because it does take time to figure out all the different processes out there that go on, for your business. And that's why, we say be doing all the different things with your content, your evergreen, whatever you're doing out there. But the biggest thing is I just lost my train of thought there. What the heck?
See, and that's what happens to business owners. They
Yep,
all of a
yep.
sudden start doing that, and then all of a sudden they just don't know what the hell they're
But,
doing.
but the
I
problem
do it all
was
the time.
I'm watching a damn screen next to me, and it just flashed at me, and I went, "What was that?" And that was the squirrel thing that my daughter used to always say. You're talking to me, Dad. You just scrolled on me, and I lost my whole train of thought. So I apologize, everybody, for that.
So I mean, but it's one of those things. It's an unknown factor, and we avoid things as business owners. We avoid pieces that are scary, that are unknown, that we don't know, that we're not 100% confident in. We avoid those things. So as business owners, we spend money, and there's things inside of waste for every business out there. So when I used to audit businesses all the time during that part of my career, and that was one of the big things I did. It wasn't the big stuff that was going to kill you. It was all the little tiny stuff and the stuff that you didn't know what they were. I'd sit down and I'd bring up, this charge. They go, I don't know what that is. And it either be some kind of tech or usually it had technology in some form, because most business owners had no idea what they were doing as far as that goes. They might be a little dangerous on it, but it's still that factor in the back of their head going, I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes you have some of these agencies or these group. I shouldn't say agencies because I'm not going to throw agencies under the bus, but you have different groups that do things. They put it all into one package, and so therefore, if you think you need to change something on it, you don't even know what. They don't give you the list or the breakout on it. So what are you really getting? You should be able to ask that question, and somebody should be upfront with you about it. If they're not upfront about it, then you need to really start to go, what am I really, what's really happening out there? Because the little $10 items, like you said, you have a $10 here, $10 there, $10. Pretty soon you have $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year that you just wasted, And
Right.
so it's good. It's good just to pay attention to your numbers, but make sure that what the numbers you're paying for are giving you value.
Well, I think that's a huge piece, because you can look at your business and you can go, okay, I can get more leads, I can have everything. But if you're paying for stuff that isn't there, you're just wasting money in that aspect as well. So, and it ties into that whole marketing, sales, and that business piece that the Huddle's all about, which I think is awesome that we can bring this all together. And I love working with members on, auditing out what they think they're spending for their website, what they think they're spending for all that piece. There's a lot of stuff we offer that we don't really talk about on the website. And there's times we'll bring it up and go, well, we could do that. We have room for it. So keep that in mind as you're kind of going through that whole process. And one thing we can do is, if you are working with an agency or working with a web developer, that you can send us over what you're paying for them for. You don't even have to tell us the name, and we're not trying to pitch you to be able to get your website or do any of those things. But if you're a member of ours, we have no problem giving our opinion of what to add to that, what could go away, or possibly a better solution than what's happening. Because what I find is a lot of marketing agencies right now, and I'm going to pick on them, they're stuck in what used to work. And a lot of businesses are experiencing that problem of, it used to work by doing the following things, and it's not working anymore. There's new stuff out that is changed. Google has changed. Bing has changed. Voice search has changed and brought a whole new dynamic to it. And then you have AI that came into the picture, and that just took everything to warp speed and put it in a shaker and shook it all up.
I know. So one of the things that we've run into is we've had some of our members they're paying somebody for SEO advice, and the problem is they don't like us in a way because we're giving out all the secrets.
They either love us or they hate us.
Yeah. So they really, good point. We have a few of them that are just resistant to what we have to offer for the listings engine or whatever. But we're trying to do is make you aware. You've got to be aware of these things so that you can at least ask, by listening to our huddle, at least you can ask the good questions and make sure they're doing the things that they're saying they're doing for you.
Exactly. And I think that's a good piece. So if you're a member of ours or you become a member of ours, definitely check for the audit for that. Have us do a profile check on your listings, but also ask us marketing questions. If you have people trying to sell you something, you want our opinion. If it's an ad, it doesn't even have to be digital. You can come to us and say, I have this. I want to know your opinion. And we'll give you our opinion. Doesn't mean you have to make that decision and do what we say, but at least it gives you that sounding board. That's the whole point of our membership, is for you to be able to have a sounding board. It's why we have the huddle, why we take questions to be able to bring up an answer here, is to be able to bring more knowledge to the group. And I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like us bringing this much knowledge to the group.
Right. And the thing is you and I at least have each other for sounding boards.
Not well, we also have our data team. We have engineers. We have everybody that sits behind us too.
Right. Exactly. But at least we have other people we can talk to. Not all small businesses or the solopreneurs, if you will, they're the one person that's doing the whole thing. Have somebody to really talk to about it. They may talk to other businesses. We've been to events where we've talked to somebody and said, "Oh, we're just kicking butt and I'm doing this, this, and this." And when you really dig into it, you went, "Oh, you're not doing as well as you think you are." And this is why we're saying that. I mean, we don't just say what you're doing sucks. We say this isn't working for you, and this is why we think it's not working for you. We try to give you an alternative solution to help you look through the problem.
And I think that's a huge piece. I mean, I know exactly who you're talking about, because he thinks he's good because he's paying the money. I mean, why wouldn't he be good? But yet you Google him, I don't get any of his ads. I'd be his target market. I don't see his website, don't see anything organically. And I think knowing where you kind of stand there and looking at it, we could do a website audit for you and tell you, this is how many technical problems, to give you a snapshot of it. I mean, there's a lot of tools that we have access to. There's a lot of knowledge that we have access to. And that was our entire goal of starting the Huddle, and starting Simply Be Found, was to be able to give back to the small businesses. Yes, we like to make money. Yes, we charge for our membership, and we like, all of that. So thank you for paying us for being able to provide that information. But that was a big piece. We did not want to come out and be like everybody that else is inside of the market. There's a lot of big corporations that control what we do. And we've been told multiple times that we can't sit at that table. We're not going to be okay at that table. We won't make it. I heard an agency the other day that was talking to one of our biggest competitors, and they're like, "Well, you guys probably won't make another 6 to 8 weeks." I mean, but they said that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because we're so different than what everybody else is, as far as the listings piece for citations and how aggregators work. For one, you can contact us and you can talk to us. You can't call us because we don't take phone calls, but you can chat with us on the website. You can even hop on a Huddle if you ever want to.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd love to have somebody give us some real world situations, because it's really good to look at it that way, because you and I look at it from a very, we know what we need to do and what we're trying to accomplish, but sometimes people just don't know where to go. They get scared to try things too. And you shouldn't always, you don't be scared to experiment a little bit. You're not going to destroy everything you're doing. I don't think that it's possible to do that.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. I mean, the only way you could really screw anything up is like if you didn't want your address out there and you put it out there, putting that back into Pandora's box is not going to work well. Because you let the cat out of that bag. I mean, it's one of those things to where that'd be about the biggest screw up I'd ever seen happen. Everything else is pretty much reversible and fixable.
Right.
But when we talk about the scare factor, Dean, there's a lot of stuff that, when we bring on new staff into our environment, you and I manage in a total different piece. We want people to bring up ideas. If they see something broke or have an idea for something being different in part of our marketing or for our members' marketing, or however they're looking at it, they are open to be able to bring those things up. Doesn't mean we always agree with it, but it starts that conversation and creates that banter back and forth to be able to come up with what we do. And there's a lot. I mean, even if we go to our data science team, if we go to our assistants, and just everything kind of makes our company up, there's certain people that are still terrified to be able to be part of our ecosystem and then be able to be in that creative mode, which it's because they don't know if they really know, and they have this task list. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So you have to keep that in consideration as well. Your staff might feel the same way and have those same roadblocks, but it's being able to be open and be able to do that. I don't know what made me think about going down that road, and I'm not sure that came out in English, because that was kind of a lot of stuff, and I can't think I felt like I bounced all over the place. But
yeah, no, this is kind of a bounce everywhere thing. But the biggest thing is mind your business, take care of your business, make sure that what you're paying for you're getting, And that's the biggest thing.
Yep. And if you're a member, come in, do an audit. We'd love to be able to do it. If you're not a member, we'd love to chat with you. Hop on our website, go down to the very bottom and click on the chat icon. Gene and I handle 100% of the chat directly right inside of the website at this point. So definitely come say hi. We'd love it. And even if you just want to say hi and that you watch today's huddle, we'd absolutely love it. It means the world to us. Yeah. So anything else you want to add for today, Dean?
No, I just got to say that, you and I handle both the chat, and every once in a while we both end up on the same chat and people go, what? You're both on here? I mean, and that's kind of fun. And we get a lot of mileage out of that conversation because then you and I banter occasionally within the chat on ideas as well. So,
well, you got to remember, we run the chat directly from our cell phone, so the chat goes into that and it goes in there. So you might get we don't really have set hours for our business. So it's one of those things to where if we can, we're going to get to you because we're small business owners and don't want to leave you hanging. Granted, there's times that you and I are both at a conference or whatever happening, and we're a little bit slower. So it all depends. But that's just that. I think that's one of the most unique pieces that sets us apart from the rest of our competition, especially on the listings and the social side.
Yes, I agree. But anyway, I think I don't have anything else to add to this conversation.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. YouTube simply be found if you're listening to this on one of the podcast networks. But we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, everybody.